to Chavacon, whatever, we in Mallorca. Mama, you was gonna do another, but I woke you up with the backwards front end. You wanna take my man, you wanna take my hand. You woke up on the front, yeah, you wanna have that sun. I love your face. We got to Chavacon, whatever, we in Mallorca. Mama, you was gonna do another, but I woke you up with the backwards front end. You wanna take my man, you wanna take my hand. You woke up on the front, yeah, you wanna have that sun. I love your face.
Now it's time to start picking apart the sponge. The slanted part of the sponge, so right there, that is going to assist you as far as your concealer. So it is cut so that way we can get it right underneath our eyes. You have the pointed tip to go right into the inner corner of your eye. The sponge has a little waistline right here, so that's for you to grip the sponge. That way you have really good control as you are doing your concealer or you're buffing it out on your face, your cheekbones, wherever you just happen to be, bouncing it on your face, you have a really good grip. There's a few things I noticed when I took it right out of the packaging. It looks pretty fat to me. This top portion here, so the top of it, you grip it right here. This portion here especially is rather large. Now you saw when I put the sponge in the water and how it grew. That's the second thing that I noticed. This sponge grows fat and thick pretty quick. Like the minute the water comes in contact with it, it blows up. Now dry, the sponge is soft. It's still pretty bouncy. It's still pretty soft, the material. So that's a good sign because I knew that once I got it wet and fully saturated and it expands, it probably is going to not only stay soft, it's going to become even softer. Here are the main points I want to talk about with this sponge. I naturally, once I grip it in my hand like this, to actually apply my foundation, I naturally want to bounce on this side right here. It just feels like there's a lot more surface area for my face to actually bounce the foundation on. I don't like to use the bottom of the sponge. Now I don't mind it on the Beauty Blender because it's much wider and it's much rounder, like a true egg, than what this is. But for some reason I just felt inclined to use this side here. Now for my concealer in my under eye area, using the slant portion of the sponge worked. However, trying to get really into the inner corners, just the way that it's cut, it was difficult to actually get in there and be precise. When it comes to using the sponge to, let's say, blend out any type of cream contour or cream bronzer, I still, here we go, again feel that this side here is going to work best for that, which kind of defeats the purpose of, okay, what else of the sponge am I going to use? If I'm gripping it like this, I'm not going to feel comfortable gripping it from the top and using this to do kind of everything else. I still did it, but it just felt like I didn't have that much control, and I was a little concerned on if everything was blending right. So when I'm looking at a beauty sponge, I'm looking at it to do a lot of work. I'm looking for it to be that workhorse for the face that I'm doing for my own face. So I want to be able to use a multitude of products. I want to be able to use that sponge for my foundation, concealer, whether I'm dealing with liquids or whether I'm dealing with creams. If I want to use it for any type of powder purposes, sometimes I might use it for that. But I tend to use one sponge to accomplish multiple steps. So I'm thinking about that when I am using or reviewing any other additional sponge that is not the Beauty Blender, because with the Beauty Blender I can do a multitude of work in one sitting. So if I'm going to look at the Face Studio Blender by Maybelline, I personally don't feel that I'm going to be able to use the entire sponge to work and get that job done. I'm going to primarily focus on this side of the sponge and this side of the sponge and really not utilize the entire sponge completely. So that's, you know, that's kind of a bummer to me. However, again, that's my needs. Your needs might be something different. It feels so good to just roll it like this. I think that the cost per use that you're going to get from this sponge is fabulous. You're going to get a sponge to do primarily the work that you want to get done for your face, blending out your makeup, but at a great price. The price is right. I do see myself using this sponge for foundation because I liked this side of the sponge for foundation, but for concealer or anything within this region here, I don't see myself using this slanted part. It's just too much of an effort to really get in. So with that, I'm going to pull in a brush. I'm going to pull in the Beauty Blender to kind of finish up and complete the job. And with that, dear friends, we are done. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it's been helpful for you on Maybelline's new Face Studio Blender Sponge. Let me know if this is something that you plan on picking up at your local Walmart stores. Again, check online and see if there's other retailers online that sell it, or even Walmart.com itself, or even Maybelline. I do want to remind you to make sure that you always check the info box on every video that I upload, because I do put playlists for anything that's related to that particular product that I'm talking about. And sometimes if it's a lot of products that I just happen to review for the brand, like Maybelline, I get questions also. No, I don't work for Maybelline. I just like their products. And to be honest, I've been using it since high school. So there you have it. I do have quite a lot of videos under the Maybelline playlist, so just make sure you check there first. Everything's always pretty much at the top so that you're not going through a whole bunch of information. Then of course, if you want to know more about me, keep reading down in the info box, and as well as you're always welcome to leave comments. You're always welcome to reach out to me on social media channels as well. I do want to thank you for stopping by and watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day or evening. And as always, I'm going to see you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.